A submarine is a single most powerful piece of military hard work that has never been devised. Just think about these for a moment. A single nuclear submarine carries more firepower than was unleashed by all the armed forces of the Second World War. But the question is, can submarine of the future become stealthy and completely style like the fictional one from Tom Clancy, The Red October? You be afraid if this becomes a reality, because this submarine was built snowed as a fast light weapon, and what a devastating weapon it will be. They can also be used to devastating retaliation against other nation missile base and airfields. In fact, the USA gives the half of its nuclear power on submarine, if there is a possible first light weapon, or in retaliation as a doctorate to a nuclear strike. What going to make submarine deadlier than it already is? When submarine will get more firepower, they will become stealthier and they will also become quieter. Those are the key of winning this game. There are three major types of submarine: ballistics missile subs, attack subs, and cruise missile subs, and they all have different purpose on war, but submarine is tough no matter which type it is. Ballistic submarine are built to evade detection by making as little noise as possible. They move slowly and they are coated with a rubbery substance that absorbs sounds and prevents sonar detection. Every moving parts of submarine is isolated, including the engine deck, which is built in shark mouth to stop vibration. You probably understand by now that the thing making the most noise in submarine is the propeller. Those massive speeding breads create bubbles called cavitation and make a lot of noise. Engine is now using more bread so that the propeller doesn't have to spin so fast to create the same proportion. It seems the propeller may be absolutely nuclear power, deselection power, or use the new air-independent technology which first come to be used in 1990. The Marine only have to surface to change crew or take on supplies because there is enough nuclear fuel to power the boat for some months without heading to surface. They are quieter, don't consume air, and produces a much greater power output than submarine with diesel engines, even though they can stay underwater for a very long period of time. A nuclear sub's reactor must constantly pump coolant, which generates enough noise that a sonar operator would be able to detect it, but there is another futuristic proportion called the pumpjet, which is considerably quieter than a propeller. The reason much known about the new pumpjet information is top secret and tightly held. One thing is that they are heavier than the conventional propeller, so the submarine must be much larger. The pumpjet become more sensorable alternative. This will make future submarine much harder to detect as they're up of suspecting enemy ship or cross line. Submarine are not allowed to go deep more than 800 feet/250 meters, but in reality, we believe that it can go much further. As soon as they sail surfaces, though, their sever is lost, especially in today's era of satellite tracking. Therefore it's important for a submarine to stay underwater for a long period of time so that they can die underwater, so that they can't be detected. All of ballistic submarine in the world are nuclear powered, meaning they may have virtually unlimited range. In addition, most submarine have oxygen generators and decelerators so as nuclear aircraft carries. Just think of a food supply on submarine. Each subs has two foodstuff crew at any given time, the blues and the gold crews. The blue crew were meant to patrol for an average of 77 days, the different submarine, the different patrol, a schedule that all submarine is deployed. Despite these long, the true period is, some of submarine doesn't have best food of any vessel, some say because submarine is small. A more likely has do with fact is that some submarine has get a higher food hatchet than other vessels. Food is important, especially considering someone duty in one of the toughest Navy jobs. Of course, fresh food can only rust almost 2 weeks. Eventually the remain green food are canned, dried and frozen. This sign doesn't mean that it come to an ending. The first crew, the blue crew, will take into a dry port. The gold crew now arrive to complete a turnover of 25 days, then a blue crew go to a training before the cycle repeat again. Most crew members can keep the cycle going for years on end. Some mariners even leave their day in cycles as well. They work 8 hours on, then have 16 hours to train, eat and sleep. In a submarine you can stay even 3 months without sunlight. A must is an empty space that you can feel free to work. Some submarine tends to have gym equipment but is not usually consulted in one room, but is spread out in different nooks and cavings. Huge submarine has personal space while small one has small, therefore, they had to share. Compared to many surfaces Navy ship which are found with internet, the communication to the outside world is limited on some range. Each submariner is given email address that their families can send messages to. When submarines are able to receive communication, all these messages are sent electronically. On board the messages are all viewed by dedicated crew member. They check through to assure no information is being sent, that they don't known by the sender. For example, they may choose to know personal information over family death in order to not affect the crew to mourn out. Many believes it's better to leave that news to the end of the patrol. How they do communication is complicated because they spend months underwater. Almost all radio wave can't travel through water, but submarine do need communication to receive orders. Very low frequency radio wave though does penetrate water to an extent that VLF radio form. See call of submarine communication system. Different navies have large VLF transmitter. For example, the USSR has the Maine, Washington, Hawaii, India and Australia. These VLF signal are able to penetrate in the ocean and being picked up by submarine as deep as 60 feet or 20 meters. One thing is, it's very low bandwidth. It can't even transmit real-time audio signals. Some submarine typically can't respond with VLF frequency since they have version of transmitters they have to raise to show their deck so that they can receive signals. It's this deck that have quick transmission and will be able to receive communication and download or upload information. But the fact of submarine is that they spend time underwater that also make other crucial element difficult to navigation. Both GPS and radar do not work underwater because they have higher frequency wave that can't make a way through any depth of water. A submarine generates a sound and they listen to when and how the sound is coming back to matter a surrounding, but this makes others easy to track submarine. Therefore, when operating in such condition, submarine can't use active sonar, rather they use unmotion navigation system. They take the last GPS of submarine and they track the movement relative to that. They use these, but of course as time goes on the accuracy of this system diminished. 24 hours after the last reading, they read 1.15 miles or 1.85 kilometers of accuracy. Now this technique combines with consultation map. Submarines are designed such that they can't be detected by others. This happened in 2009 when Navy submarine sailing in east of Atlantic Ocean collides with French submarine, but luckily, they were going at a low speed and no one got harmed. Submarines are dangerous even in peacetime. They are designed to disappear, so when something goes wrong it just disappeared.